The story opened with Matthew, a perpetually single young man, deeply absorbed in finishing his first novel, titled Someone from Behind. He was a struggling orphan, dreaming of becoming a renowned writer. His greatest hope was that his novel would be accepted by a publisher, transforming his life and financial situation. Day after day, he worked as a daily laborer, assisting with a cargo truck. His job involved the endless task of loading and unloading all sorts of goods, from food and clothing to restaurant waste, and sometimes even moving college students' belongings. One day, while making a delivery to a university campus, Matthew coincidentally spotted a famous novelist giving a seminar to literature students. The writer, Alice, appeared young and beautiful. Matthew immediately felt an attraction. It was a clear case of love at first sight. However, as he was enjoying gazing at Alice, his friend abruptly snapped him back to reality, reminding Matthew that they were just common laborers. Matthew then shrugged it off and went back to work. Days later, Matthew received the long-awaited reply from the publisher. Unfortunately, his novel was rejected, crushing his hopes in a matter of seconds. Undeterred, he called the publisher to ask which parts of his writing were unappealing. He hoped to revise his novel, but the call was immediately disconnected. The very next day, Matthew was back at work, assigned to clean an apartment. Its elderly tenant had passed away 2 days prior. The apartment owner explained that the old man had rented the place for 35 years, living alone without any family, and no one had ever visited him. They were instructed to take some furniture to a charity, while the remaining items should just be thrown away. Inside the old man's bedroom, Matthew saw it was filled with books, newspapers, and various other odds and ends. This clearly indicated the deceased had been fond of reading and writing. Matthew quickly began putting the items into plastic bags. He discovered the late old man's name was Leon. He also found a photo of a young Leon, who was once a soldier and had fought in Algeria. Suddenly, a dusty, leather-bound book tumbled from the top of a cabinet, startling him. Curious, he opened it. It turned out to be Leon's personal diary from his time as a French soldier in Algeria. Matthew immediately recognized the exceptional quality of the writing. It vividly recounted Leon's life, from his first kill to his profound anxieties on the battlefields of Africa. Back at home, Matthew still struggled to write a new novel. He couldn't figure out how to create a story that could truly move readers. Then, an idea sparked. He would write a novel based on Leon's diary. It chronicled Leon's life as a soldier, describing a terrifying atmosphere where the sky turned dark, hands were red with sin, and how he wrestled between harsh orders and his own conscience, especially as women and children also became victims in that Algerian conflict. After days of rewriting Leon's story, carefully changing the original character names, the novel was finally complete. However, Matthew was unsure what title would fit this tale. He eventually found inspiration in a powerful phrase, Algerian sands blackened by blood. He then titled his new novel, Black Sand. The very next day while working, Matthew received a phone call from the publisher. They told him his novel, Black Sand, was excellent and invited him to a meeting. Matthew was overjoyed that his novel had been accepted. However, since the story was not entirely his own idea, he meticulously noted down all the important moments from Leon's diary so he could explain the narrative smoothly to the publisher. After memorizing everything, he burned the diary, outwardly claiming the story as entirely his original work. Unbeknownst